second video session of chapter number 15, that's our environment. In our previous chapter we have discussed what is called environment. Also in that we have discussed about waste. There will be solid waste, liquid waste and gaseous waste. In that previous session we have also discussed what is called biodegradable waste and what is non-biodegradable waste. Also we have discussed the effects of biodegradable waste on environment and non-biodegradable waste on environment. In example of biodegradable waste, we were having garbage, sewage, etc., livestock, etc. And in non-biodegradable waste, we are having radioactive substances, plastics and all. We have also discussed that why non-biodegradable waste is harmful for us and what are the ways that we can get rid from the harmful effect of it. In today's session, we are going to understand about what is ecosystem and types of ecosystem. Also, we will have a discussion of components of our ecosystem. Let's understand this word, ecosystem. Now, what is called ecosystem? So, simple. Ecosystem, it's a system of an environment or of our biosphere with biotic and abiotic components. Means, as we all know, that the biotic components, biotic means living components. Biotic components means living components. In that there will be plants, animals, different microorganisms, and as an abiotic component you are having non-living things like land, water, etc. So this biotic components have interaction with each other, and also this biotic components will have interaction with the abiotic components, right? So this way the biotic and abiotic have an interaction with each other and a system which is formed, that is our ecosystem. Means we can say that ecosystem, in that there will be biotic components will have interaction with each other and they will also have the interaction with the surrounding, with the abiotic components of our environment, of our biosphere. So that together will form our ecosystem. So our ecosystem, in that there will be interaction between biotic components and abiotic components. In this ecosystem, the flow of energy and matter is there, right? So flow of energy and matter is done in the ecosystem. Now, if we try to understand the types of ecosystem, how many types of ecosystem we will have? So the second point for us is types of ecosystem. So generally there will be two types of ecosystem. First is natural ecosystem and the second one, that is our artificial ecosystem. First let's understand about natural ecosystem. Natural ecosystem, it exists naturally. Okay, that will be self-maintained ecosystem. It will be self-maintained, means no human activities is required to maintain such type of ecosystem, that is self-maintained by nature. In this natural ecosystem also we will have two another types, right? That will be our terrestrial ecosystem and another is aquatic ecosystem. In terrestrial ecosystem, which is related to land, so suppose we can say desert, right? Different mountain areas. etc. will come in our terrestrial ecosystem. While in aquatic ecosystem there will be different water bodies, ponds, lakes, etc. Right? So this way our natural ecosystem can be categorized into terrestrial ecosystem and our aquatic ecosystem. Natural ecosystem, it exists naturally, it is self-maintained, and we will have terrestrial and aquatic, and also the examples of terrestrial and aquatic. The another type of the ecosystem, that is the another type of our ecosystem, that is our artificial ecosystem. As we all know that in this type of artificial ecosystem, first of all, it is man-made ecosystem. It is man-made ecosystem. Okay, it will be not self-regulated, right? So human activities is required for its regulation. So it is not self-maintained. Human activities is required for maintenance of such type of ecosystem. So that is called artificial ecosystem. Now let's check some examples of artificial ecosystem like botanic garden, fields, also we can say aquarium, etc. are artificial ecosystem. So this way we can understand that what is called ecosystem. Ecosystem, it will be an interaction of the biotic and abiotic components. How many types of ecosystems are there? So there will be generally two types of ecosystem: natural ecosystem and artificial ecosystem. Natural ecosystem that exists naturally. Here artificial ecosystem, it does not exist naturally, it is man-made ecosystem. Natural ecosystem, it is self-maintained, so no human activities are required to maintain our natural ecosystem. But in artificial ecosystem, it's man-made, so it is not self-maintained. Human activities are required. In natural ecosystem, we will have two types: terrestrial ecosystem and aquatic ecosystem. Terrestrial means which is related to land, so in that desert, different mountain areas, that all will there. And in aquatic ecosystem, there will be different water bodies like ponds, lake, ocean, etc. Artificial ecosystem, that's a botanic garden, right, which is prepared by humans. Fields or the aquarium, that's also prepared by human. So this way we can understand the concept of ecosystem. Means it is just a isolated part of the environment in which the biotic and the abiotic components will have an interaction, right, and they are dependent on each other, and in some cases they are independent also from each other, but a proper interaction between a biotic and abiotic component which is isolated from our environment, even though it's part of our environment, that is called ecosystem. One more very important question. In artificial ecosystem, which is the largest man-made artificial ecosystem? So in that we will have agro, right? So agro is the largest artificial ecosystem or largest man-made ecosystem. So this is very most important for your exam. After understanding types of ecosystem, now we will understand about components of our ecosystem. Okay, so what are components of ecosystem? So in our ecosystem there will be two type of components, as we know that some will be living and some will be non-living. So according to that, we will have two type of components of our ecosystem. First is biotic components of our ecosystem, and the second one, that is abiotic component of our ecosystem. So now let's understand this biotic components of ecosystem and abiotic components of ecosystem. Let's start our journey from biotic components of ecosystem. So biotic component of ecosystem. So what will be there in biotic component of ecosystem? So all of the living organisms will be there in our biotic component of ecosystem. There can be animals, plants and different micro organisms as a part of biotic component. These biotic components means these living things, they are interrelated with each other. They are interconnected with each other. In some of the cases, they are also independent and they interact with the abiotic component of ecosystem. Right? So all of the living component of the ecosystem, that is considered as a biotic component of ecosystem. Now, according to their mode of nutrition, how they are taking their food, right? We can categorize it into different parts, right? So the biotic components, it can be categorized into producers, consumers and decomposers, right? So our biotic components can be categorized into producers, consumers and decomposers. Now what will come in producers, consumers and decomposers? Let's understand it in detail. What will be as a producers, what will be as a consumers and what will be as a decomposers, right? So our biotic component, okay, as a producers, as a consumers and as decomposers. So let's try to understand. First, what will come as a producers, right? What are called producers? So plants, blue-green algae, that will be our producers. This producers means the biotic component, and in that the producers, plants or blue-green algae, they will do photosynthesis and will prepare their food. As we all know that by doing photosynthesis they are preparing their food. So in that case, carbon dioxide and oxygen, it is exchanged. They will take carbon dioxide and they will release oxygen into atmosphere. So producers means plants or blue-green algae which will do photosynthesis process, right? As they are doing photosynthesis process, so we can also say that they are having autotrophic mode of nutrition. Autotrophic mode of nutrition means auto means self and trophic means to gain nutrition. So as they are plants, blue-green algae, so they will be autotrophs, and all of the autotrophs, they do photosynthesis process, and by photosynthesis process they are able to prepare their food by themselves. In that case, we also know that they will take carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and will release oxygen back to the atmosphere, and due to that the carbon cycle and oxygen cycle, that all will get balanced, right? So this way in our biotic component of ecosystem we are clear about producers. This producers, that will be our first layer of topic, right? That we will understand. Now the second one is consumers. Consumers means they cannot prepare their food by themselves. So according to that, they are having heterotrophic mode of nutrition. According to that, they are having heterotrophic mode of nutrition, means they depends on other. Now on what they depends, according to that we can categorize into herbivorous, carnivorous and omnivorous. Now let's understand that in detail. First of all, herbivorous means what? So as we all know that the consumers which are called herbivorous, they depend on producers. Means the herbivorous is directly dependent on producers. Means they take plants as their food. Okay? So in that case, you can have an example of rabbit, goat, cow, etc. will be the example of herbivores. The another category in that consumers, that is are carnivores. But before understanding that, here you can see that herbivores is the first in consumers, so it is called first order consumer. What it is called? It is called first order consumers. Okay, the second one, that is carnivores. Now carnivores means they depends on other animals. Now in this also there will be two cases. Some carnivores, they depends on animals, but these animals, they depends on plants. There are also some carnivores that they depends on animals, and these animals, they are eating other animals. So according to that, we can say that this is our second order consumer. What it is? This is our second order consumer, and this one, that is our third order consumer. What it is called? That's called our third order consumer. Again, carnivores, they depends on other animals, right? So in that also there will be two categories. See, this is called lower level of carnivores, and this is called higher level of carnivores. In lower level of carnivores, the carnivores, they depends on animal, but these animals take plants as their food, so they are called lower level of carnivores, and that is also called second order of consumers. Okay, the carnivores depends on animal, and that animals are also depending on other animals, right? So that is called higher level carnivores, and that is called our third order consumer. Right? So in that there will be predators and different scavengers. As we know that in predators there will be lion, okay, and as a scavengers there will be jackal. Jackal will be example of scavengers, right? So instantly predators means the second order consumers, and scavengers means they will be our third order consumers. Now, the another one, that is omnivores. Now, what do you mean by omnivores? Omnivores, they depend on plants and animals both, right? So they can take plants or animals as their food. That will be omnivores. Like humans are the best example of omnivores, right? So this way in consumers we will have herbivores, carnivores and omnivores. Herbivores, they are called first order consumer. Carnivores, in that we will have second order consumer, and we will also have third order consumer according to the carnivores which eats animal, and if that animals are depending on plants, so that is our second order consumer, and the animals, it is dependent on another animal, that is our third order consumer. Right? So this way we can understand the concept of consumers. Now the other one is decomposers. Now what is this decomposers? So generally fungi and bacteria will come in this category of decomposers. What these decomposers do? These decomposers, they break down a complex compound into simple carbonic compound. So as it will break down this from complex compound to simple carbonic compound, it will be easily gained by different levels of tropics. Means it can be easily used in different tropic levels that we will understand further. Okay, so what are decomposers? Decomposers are bacteria or fungi or such different microorganisms which converts complex compound into simple compound. Now, what is advantages of these decomposers? These decomposers, they break down the complex compound into simple compound. So generally they are giving us the tropic, they are giving the energy to the different tropic levels. Okay, they are used in maintaining the cycles, and also they are used in clearing the organic waste of our environment. Okay, so this way producers, consumers and decomposers are very important factors, right? Producers, consumers and decomposers in as a biotic component, how they are useful to us, right? What comes in producers, consumers and decomposers, that we have discussed. Again, just have a quick look on it, that in biotic components they are living components, in that animals, plants and different microorganisms will be there. They are interrelated with each other. Biotic components can be classified into producers, consumers and decomposers. In producers there will be plants, living algae, they will do photosynthesis because they are autotrophs, exchange of carbon dioxide and the oxygen will take place. In consumers there will be herbivorous, carnivorous, omnivorous, they all are heterotrophs, so they can't prepare their food by themselves, they depend on other. In herbivorous, they are our first order consumer, right, because it will be the first trophic level. In consumers, then after that, in carnivores, we will have second order consumers, means the carnivores, means the animals, it is dependent on the other animals, and that other animal, it depends on plants, right, so that is our carnivores, like lion. Suppose lion eat goat, but goat eat grass. Okay, so this way we can understand the concept of second order consumer. Similarly, in third order consumer, the carnivorous, it depends on other animal, and that animal it is dependent on other animal. So that will be our third order consumer. In omnivorous, they depends on animals and plants both. Decomposers, they break down, they decompose the complex compound into simple organic compound. Bacteria and fungi will be example of it. Different microorganisms is also examples of decomposers. So this way we have completed the biotic component of our ecosystem. Now let's talk about abiotic component of our ecosystem. In abiotic components means we know that it will be of non-living things, right? In abiotic components, how it is useful? So we know that the biotic component of ecosystem will be labeled on the abiotic components of ecosystem. Means there will be an interaction between biotic and abiotic component of ecosystem. So this abiotic component of ecosystem is also very necessary to understand. What will come in this abiotic component of ecosystem? So there will be light, temperature, atmospheric gases, wind, and what these are some main points of our abiotic component of ecosystem. Now let's understand it. First one, that is light. So as we know that how light is useful, right, in the process of photosynthesis, this light is necessary, and due to that photosynthesis only plants are able to prepare their food, and that plants, right, the food of that plants, it will be sent to the another trophic level that we will understand. So light is responsible for photosynthesis, right, and here also the carbon dioxide gas is used in the process of photosynthesis. So another factor, that's our temperature. How temperature is useful? So we know that for growth of plants, temperature is the important factor, right? So it creates our trophic level of producer, right? So this way also temperature, it also have a very important role. Now this temperature, it is also useful to control our atmosphere, like the presence of water. It is due to the temperature on this earth. If the temperature rises, right, so there will be no water on this planet. It can be in form of vapor. Due to this temperature also we know that if the temperature is increased, it creates the problem like global warming. So temperature is also a very important abiotic factor. After that we will have atmospheric gases. As we all know that there are many gases in our atmosphere, but some important gases like oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, these all are very important, right? Oxygen, we are using it for our respiratory purpose. For our breathing we are taking oxygen. Carbon dioxide is also related with our breathing system. This carbon dioxide is also useful in process of photosynthesis. It's also useful in process of photosynthesis by which plants are preparing their food. Nitrogen for plants and animals. For both it's very useful. Okay. So this atmospheric gases is also very useful. Abiotic components. After that we will have wind. Now as you all know how wind is responsible for pollination. Right, for pollination of seeds, wind is responsible, that we have studied. Also for soil displacement, the upper layer of soil, from transferring it from one place to another, that wind is responsible for it. Right. Also to maintain the temperature, wind is responsible for movements of cloud from one point to another. In that case also wind is responsible. Right. So that is also the important factor. The another one is water. It's very essential for our life. Water is very essential for our life. We are using it for our domestic purposes. We are using this water for our industrial purposes, right? And as we know that without water, life is not possible. Different water bodies, they are useful to us. Nowadays, we are using this water for production of electricity also, right? So this abiotic components of ecosystems are also very necessary. So in today's session, we have understood that what is called ecosystem, what is types of ecosystem, in that we studied about natural ecosystem and artificial ecosystem. In natural ecosystem we have studied about terrestrial ecosystem and aquatic ecosystem, right? So similarly here also we will have a concept of biotic and abiotic components of ecosystem. We discussed in detail what comes in biotic component of ecosystem. There will be producers, consumers and decomposers. In abiotic there will be light, temperature, atmospheric gases, wind and water. Right? So all these things is explained here. I hope you will be clear, right? And everything is provided to you in form of worksheets and assignment. So go through it. Any of topic, if you are having any of difficulty, so you can just rewind the video and you can watch it again. You can go through all the worksheets and you can complete the work and send it and type. Thank you.